Very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. May I now request you to kindly be seated? May I request Mr. Prem Singh to kindly join me on stage in welcoming Ms. Marlis Carlin for her special address, please.
Okay, thank you and good afternoon, everyone. I hope the energy levels are fine and you are doing well. So this is the last session, but I can promise it will be the most exciting session. Yesterday we said that if you take a step back and ask a question, what is it that we are all seeking in life, in our own lives? One thing which is the real differentiator of quality of life, whatever jargons you want to use, the answer is we are all seeking happiness, joy, peace of mind, sense of accomplishment, sense of fulfillment, sense of purpose, some kind of a connection. So this session deals with exactly the same thing. How do you get that sense of accomplishment, sense of success, peace, happiness, and how do you relax? So it's based upon a lot of research the speaker has done, and a lot of research in Indian settings, and therefore that's even more exciting because it is grounded in our environment. So may I invite the speaker of the session, Marlis Carlin, the beautiful lady on my right-hand side. And can I ask all of you to give her a very big round of applause to Marlis Carlin. Marlis, thank you so much for coming. So I'm sure you are going to enjoy the session. All the very best. Have a great day. Marlis, so all yours. Please.
Oh, hello, everybody. It's so nice to be here with you. Thank you for staying. I know we've all had 2 beautiful days and heard from some extraordinary speakers. And so what I would like to add today is to assure that you're not only gaining knowledge, but you have something to take with you. You will have tools to take with you when you leave today that you can continue to use in your own life and you can use with everyone that you work with. Because isn't that what's important? One of the things I have discovered for myself is that as we gain knowledge, if we don't ground it into reality and take action on it, it dissipates. It's gone. They say that even with what we study, within less than 3 weeks, it's gone. So for a lot of young people today, they study for the test, and it's gone. So I want to make sure that what you experience today, because when we experience something, it resonates through our entire body and mind, doesn't it? We don't forget what we experience. So I'm going to be offering you some knowledge of a lot of things that I have learned over 25 years of study and an additional 15 years of research. But let me just begin with a little bit exactly how it's going to relate to you and today's topic, okay? So what I want you to be able to walk away with is knowledge of having more access to your own potential. Because what is it that we all want? We want happiness. We want peace of mind. At work, we want to be more productive. We want to be more creative. We want to be able to have a great state of mind and share that with others. But it isn't always easy, is it? So, what I learned completely shifted my perspective on what's possible for humankind, for myself and for others. And that's what I want to share with you today. So first I'm going to share a little bit about myself and how I got to be here doing this right now. So I am the founder and CEO of SOS Method. I'm also a successful entrepreneur, have been for many years. I produced an award-winning film in Hollywood. I was international director of an NGO traveling the world, and I was interior architectural designer, building homes across the United States. But my life wasn't always like that. In fact, I ran away from home at 16. My father was physically and verbally abusive. So much so that I had to leave home. Now, I think you can imagine at 16, you're not really prepared for life. And especially when you've been abused in that way, you don't even know who you are. You've lost self-esteem, you've lost love, you're searching. So I took that searching to find relief and freedom in my life and ended up doing drugs. And I think we see that with a lot of people today, because drugs will give us momentary relief, but as we know, it's momentary, it doesn't last. But what happened then was the buildup of stress, of trying to make it on my own at such a young age. So all that stress, by the time I was in my 20s, turned into chronic illness. And doctors told me I needed an operation. And I said, I'm too young. There must be another way to heal. How can I heal? Guess what I did? I went to India. So when people say, is this your first time in India? Not really. It was over 35 years ago I was here for the first time in rural India. And I studied with meditation masters, and I got better, and I found love. But it wasn't everything I needed, so I continued the journey. And I began studying Eastern holistic traditions. And I studied with a master from Japan, and I began to understand the body and how the body and mind work together. And then later I began studying with Western scientists, all the latest research to really pull it all together. So I became well. And then I became the successful entrepreneur I spoke about. And I did all those wonderful things for years until the stress built up again. Isn't that what it's like? You're successful, boom, you've got a lot of stress. You take care of a lot of people. So this is where I think I'm turning to all of you. My imagination tells me all of you experience that stress as well. So let's see what that's like in today's world. Stress is a health epidemic of the 21st century. As you can see, 17.9 million people die from stress-related illness globally each year. 2 hours of productivity are lost. 2 hours a day. So imagine what this is doing at your businesses. 10 to 15% cost to the world's economy, and 80% of workers say they feel stress and they need help managing it. So what can we do to help ourselves, and what can we do to help the people that we're with? So everyone feels stress. What is the first thing people go to if it's not drinking or something that we could think of automatic? You go physical, right? You go to the gym, got to work out that stress. And that is so helpful. And physical development is extremely important for all of us. And that is nutrition, and it's how we're taking care of our body, and it's all the different things that we need to take care of ourselves. Now, let's see if I switch to that. Yeah. So, I'm sorry, I got to go back. But the thing is, we don't think about mental development. We think about physical development. Well, what about our mind? What about our state of mind? How many things do you do every day for your state of mind? Not too many, right? So this is something that really becomes important to understand. Why are we putting all of the effort into our body? Because if we don't take care of our mind as well, our mind affects our body. Where do you think the stress and chronic illness comes from, right? Side by side. This is how it happens. So, look at this. This is about mental health. I think you're understanding this more, and we're hearing more and more about mental health today. And we think mental health is like someone who's sick. It isn't that. Mental health happens every day. Can you see this? This is what happens in a period of hours sometimes. You wake up, you might be feeling good. You get a bad phone call, you're going down. You get to work, things aren't working the way you thought, you're starting to feel anxious. So you're going up and down the scale, sometimes all day long, up and down and up and down. So as you can see, there is a way to have early intervention so that you actually can have a better perspective and deal with things easier and understand things better. And instead of going down, you can recover and begin recovering. So there's two things. There's the preventative, and then there's what do I do in the moment when I feel myself going down. So meditation can help, right? Meditation is an ancient art. We know that. There's been a lot of study on it. Aetna Insurance Company in 2015 did a study, and you can see all the different things that began to happen here. Now, I'm sorry, my machinery is not working for some reason. Okay. So you can see from this all the different things that happen with decrease in the stress levels, with increase in sleep. 3,000 a year is what they discovered in productivity. What do you think your boss would think about if you could save 3,000 per person? Now that's American dollars, but that's a lot of money, isn't it? 2,000 saving on visits to the doctor. That's huge. So there's a challenge with this, though. How many people in the room have tried meditation and quit because your mind was too busy, you don't have enough time, you thought it was boring? Raise your hand. How many people have never tried meditation? Raise your hand. You know, I'll tell you something funny. In America and I travel all over the world, and when I tell people that I'm coming to India, they go, oh my gosh, that must be so great. Everybody there meditates. And over the last 6 months as I've been traveling and having programs in India, I would say 90% of the people don't meditate in every program that I've done, 90%. So I get it. Believe me, I get it, because I was right there with you. You see that first person? That was me. And I think that's a lot of us. You know, we have all this stress, we have all these challenges, but we don't know what to do with it. And you think you're going to meditate. Well, who has time? And you're not going to do what your parents did. Millennials today are not going to do what their mothers and fathers do. And it's all across, it's all ages. So we have to find some different way of getting that peace of mind. But what if we could get the benefits of meditation in an entirely different way? What if when you listened to a new form of meditation, it felt so good that you enjoyed doing it? And what if your mind didn't have to be still? Because that's the biggest complaint. My mind is too busy. I'm an A-type person. Fine. Guess what? Your mind doesn't have to be still. And you can do it in 5 minutes. So since this was my challenge, of course, as I began putting everything together after my years of study with all of these teachers, I took elements from everything I learned. And that's my skill. I pulled together all this incredible wisdom and knowledge. And then through the inspiration that came through me, I developed SOS Method and concept meditations. And a very special formula that includes music, What do you think happens when we hear music that we like? What's the first thing that happens? You relax. You're not worried about your mind having to be still because you just like it, right? Another thing to understand is what they're finding is with dementia and Alzheimer's, the last place to go in your brain is where music is. So you hold on to music. There's something about it that you love. Now, is it the music that makes this happen? No. This is one of the elements. It's music, tones, words, and white space. And this is where I go in the middle, because when you feel it, you like it, you're like surprised by it. And then as you do it again and again, it's cumulative. So you want to think about doing this again and again and again. So what is so wonderful about this is that it can blend into your life. Now, everybody should find tools to blend into your life that help you with the development of your mind and the release of stress. Do you agree? Do you agree we need to have something to help ourselves? So what I suggest is, if you can find something that helps you in the way you live your life. You can't run to the temple every time you need a stress relief. You can't run and go find a quiet room. So I developed a lot of different kinds of meditations that you can do, literally riding your moped or driving in your car. Mommies tell me that when they put it on, all the kids stop fighting. How helpful would that be, right? So you want to find different ways to bring it into your life. And this is just kind of an example. You could be sitting at work. And by the way, for all of you who are taking care of teams of people, at SOS Method, we do it at work. We do it before meetings because it clears the slate and it gets you into more creativity, an inspired state of mind. Does that make sense? So if people have stuff going on, don't you have to clear it out? I think you talked about that. We have to kind of let go of things before we have the opening of what's new. So this is one way to clear everything out and open to what's new. So I'll share one story with you. Ankur actually works at SOS Method. He's a graphic artist. So when I first came here and began working with everyone, I worked with my own team. I have a marketing and technology team right here. And so you're going to find mostly millennials, and they're going to be from no religion, this religion, only like energy, only this, only that. And that's what I find where I've traveled all over the world. And that's why it's important that it only is about your own potential, your own heart and mind. That's what you're accessing. So what Ankur said is that he began doing it daily. And after 1 month, he said he does it every single morning now because it gives him a rush, a rush of vitality and energy. And isn't that part of happiness? Actually, when you look into depression, they say it is the opposite. It's like vitality, because when you're depressed, you have no vitality at all. So it's something you're looking for, and sometimes you're so depressed you can't even begin to find it, can you, right? So having this vitality and excitement about life is important. And then when he says, when he's feeling it challenging, he also knows to do it. Because again, it clears his mind and he notices a shift in his mood. So in 30 days, he said he saw an improvement in his mental outlook. And now he has a new awareness of how creative and powerful he really is. In fact, he said, it's like I'm Superman and I know I could beat up Batman anytime I want. So if any of you saw those movies, you understand that's a powerful state of being. So how does it work? What's happening is not the genius of SOS Method. It's the genius of you. You have this potential. The challenge is, as we were speaking earlier, epigenetics. Our cells are filled with what has happened in the past through our parents and much farther back. And so we come into this life having triggers. Have you seen yourself? Like you see a guy with blue eyes, and every time you see blue eyes, it drives you crazy. Either really good or really bad. And we have all these funny triggers. We don't know where they come from. Some of them come from right there from the past. So how do you reach down and get to that? You got to get in the cells of the body. And this is something that I understood from the holistic traditions that I worked with. And now as I've begun looking into Ayurveda, Ayurveda has the same understanding. You have to get into that place. We can't change our habits just because somebody tells us about it. You know, that's why you can't lose weight just by learning about it, can you? You have to get into where you're holding on to things. So what's happening is, when you're doing SOS method, it activates your body's intelligent cells. And they know what to do. Think about it. Your body heals itself, doesn't it?